They say I know nothing, but I do know that you can sell your skins for cash at bitskins.com.
Today we'll be looking at a round between Astralis and NaVi on Overpass. Astralis send the majority of their players towards B with 2 short and 1 monster. They use the Molotov for short together with some spam to help prevent any CT aggression. One player goes to connector and throws a Molotov before heading back, as well as one player towards fountain who throws 2 flashes. Both these actions create presence around the map in order to give NaVi no clear read as to where they might be heading. Once everyone is grouped together, the execute begins almost immediately. Astralis put a smoke for heaven, 2 Molotovs for CT and graffiti, as well as a close short smoke. With 2 flashes from short and 2 flashes from monster, they burst out and swarm the site. They split from bridge and pillar, collapsing onto the NaVi defense from both angles. Device then gets a rotation kill onto seized at connector to seal the round. If we look back at the execute, the short smoke is the one that allows Astralis to close the distance and explode out onto the site in 2 separate angles. DUPREEH is able to get around the pillar safely with the help of the monster flashes and clean up 2 NaVi members with their backs turned. Xipnix throws the Molotov for short and spams the wood to prevent any NaVi players pushing aggressive. His job is just to hold monster until everyone is ready to execute. It's very important that he doesn't die, and you can see that he doesn't challenge at all to risk anything. As the rest of his team throws their nades, he puts 2 flashes into the same position, the second of which blinds Guardian and allows DUPREEH to clean up the site. By the time Xipnix pushes monster, the site is already clear, but what he does next is quite interesting. He re-smokes heaven and then gets boosted up. In the process, he picks up another smoke and puts it down behind him to make it look like no one would be pushing through. Notice how he doesn't underarm it, but instead throws it at the roof as if he was still on a site. It's a small detail that doesn't result in any kill and isn't necessarily tied to the main strategy, but I think it's just a nice touch. Device goes to throw the connector Molotov and doesn't waste any time in falling back to set up the main execute. Although nobody was in connector from NaVi, this still creates presence there, and Seized could definitely hear it from middle, making him clear more angles on the rotate. Once Device finally gets set up at short, the execute begins immediately. He smokes heaven and then throws 2 flashes as Glaive is at the corner of short. It's Device's job to cover the connector flank, and he'd only really commit onto the site if they needed the numbers. Glaive throws both of his flashes towards middle to show presence across the map before immediately dropping back to do the execute. These 2 flashes alone are enough to make Seized feel uneasy about peeking further towards fountain. Once Glaive is set up in his position, he does his smoke the same time as Device and leads the charge straight towards bridge. He gets partially blind from Device's second flash, but still manages to get the assist onto FLAMIE. With the site clear, he refreshes the Molotov at CT to further delay any rotations. KJAERBYE goes straight towards short with DUPREEH. Before the execute is about to begin, he clears close sandbags and then sets up his Molotov for CT. He goes the same route as Glaive, but gets unlucky in his aim duel with him just falling down into the water and unable to reset his aim. DUPREEH goes short and holds for the boost straight away. A lot of teams usually wait for a flash to peek this, so it's interesting to see that DUPREEH goes in dry. I guess if you do a flash, it might just be too obvious that you are setting up for a late B execute. As you can see, DUPREEH continues to hold the boost until both Glaive and Device are back from middle and connector. He throws his Molotov for graffiti and runs out the right side of the smoke to clear monster, and then wraps around the pillar to grab 2 kills. You can see that with Guardian being blind and FLAMIE busy towards bridge, DUPREEH had the perfect opportunity to grab kills from behind. After sight is clear, he plants the bomb and then smokes towards CT to delay rotations. I may as well show the boost that DUPREEH does with Xipnix, as it's pretty good. Guardian AWPs monster, and after smoking it off, plays close to the pillar. As he sees the execute come in, he tries to dodge the flashes, but gets caught by Xipnix's second flash and has no clue where DUPREEH is. FLAMIE holds short and Molotov's monster for Guardian. It looked like he was saving his smoke to refresh monster, but just as he pulled it out, the execute comes in and he fumbles around with a grenade towards short. This put him at such a disadvantage because Astralis were already out past the bridge and in such good positioning. To his credit though, he does still manage to pick off KJAERBYE and almost Glaive, who goes down to 12 HP. I think the fact that FLAMIE held off his smoke for so long was partly due to Astralis not making any noise towards B. There was no real reason to throw it at short early if they planned on having a 2-man smoke refresh for Monster. Tease played at toilets and it looked like he wanted to go aggressive party with his smoke. You can see both of Glaive's slashes wreck him here and delay him significantly. NaVi were playing a 2-man stack close long, but they decided not to peek any further until they knew about the execute. With that, Seas throws a flash for them to push long and then rotates down towards connector. He checks connector briefly but then dies to Device, who was waiting at short. For more strategy breakdowns, make sure you do subscribe, leave me some feedback in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.